All right, guys. So you have your data. Now we need to report that data. So I'm going to kind of show you in our coming up in our lab report. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more all together in a different video. But right now, I just wanted to show you. I've made up some results here for my experiment. So yours will look different than this, but I'll show you what I did over here in just a minute because we want to tackle this results section of our APA format for experiment write-ups. So in the results section, we're basically looking at figures, telling what our data meant and all that kind of stuff. So I'm basically throwing plane A, plane B, plane C. I want to put these right here because the x-axis goes there. Notice that our x-axis should have our independent variable, and then our dependent variable should be on the y. So this is our x-axis here, right? And then our y-axis is all of our distances that the plane went. So this is going to be throw 1 through 10. Plane A went 22, 25, etc. You see all that, right? Then what's really going to be important for us though is averages. So this data right here doesn't really do anything for us. What we really want is this data here. So in order to set that up, I basically just copied this. So Control C and then Control V, paste it right here so that I've got my planes. Made a mistake there. And then I'm going to label this column average. And then up here, I've got this as distance plane traveled in feet. So to do an average, it's really pretty easy. If you just type in equals average, see how these fills come up? I can click on this guy right here and then just hit enter. Or another way to do it is click equals average, and then parentheses, and then grab what you want, and then close those parentheses and hit enter. So those have been done for us. So these are going to be the average distances that the plane is that each plane has flown. So now what we want to do is we want to turn this data into a graph. So if I click on this guy here, it's going to insert a chart. Notice that it puts the average distance planes traveled in feet. This axis down here is labeled wrong, so I can fix that. That's the x-axis. So if I want to change what that is, I will remove. I didn't want to do that. Control Z. Control Z. I want to rename this as chart and axis titles. Axis title. Oh, okay. So the horizontal axis title would be plane types. And then see that changes there. And then we say, okay, so that's good. This is the average. We probably want to change that to say like average distance. Should be able to change it here. Average distance flown in feet. Right? So if we do that, that does that. Now what we can do, if we want to go use this in our report, we can. We can also use this in our report if we want. That's our basic data table. Usually we want to kind of clean this up. We would maybe just call this average distance. We could probably just take that out. Might merge these cells here. So merge, and then we want these words to spill over, which is this guy. And then that should work. We'll just make this a little bit bigger. Get out of the way. Do that right there. Then usually what we want to do when we're formatting these is change the borders a little bit. We want to put usually just a bottom border on this guy just to separate that from that, and then we put a bottom border here just to separate those out, just to make the chart look as clean as possible. So that would basically do it. I like to do two border here if possible. Where's that at? Double guy. And we'll put double guy on the bottom. So this is what your chart should look like if you're doing like a numbered chart, and then this is what our graph would look like. If you want to change this, this would just be average distance planes, 3 types planes, blue, fly, feet, and then that should be good. So in just a little bit we'll come back, and as I'm talking about this APA thing, we'll actually use this in what we're doing. So for now, that's basically how you can manipulate your data so that we have the information that we need. Because if we can see like this stuff isn't really terribly important, if we were to just compare like highest, this guy went 20, this guy went 30, this guy went 18, but on average, notice how low this guy is. So really averages are best. So that's why we did averages. So that should help us when we go to write this report, which will be what the next video is about.